welcome. It's Psychic Cynthia here, Spiritual Psychic Cynthia Killian, and welcome to your Friday forecast. And in this Friday forecast, rather than covering the whole week ahead, we'll be focusing in on the fact that Mercury, yes, the lovely planet Mercury, which I'm sure you've all heard of by now, Mercury is getting ready to station direct. Yay! So yes, that's right. Mercury has been retrograde since January 30th, I believe, 2021, basically the last 3 weeks. And now, tomorrow, or well, depending on when you're watching this video, this Saturday, that's February 20th, Mercury will station direct. And a lot of times you'll hear us say Mercury is going direct. And that's okay to say that, but technically on the day that it stations, it's not actually direct yet, because station basically means a standstill. So when a planet, in this case Mercury, stations, it is coming in its orbit to almost a standstill. Not quite completely, but it slows way down, which is what it's kind of been doing during the retrograde anyway, but now it's going to slow way down even yet, and then it will begin moving back towards what we call direct motion, which is, you know, the normal motion. But anyway, this is good news. This means that we're about to enter into a time of a gradual return to smoothness in our daily affairs, a gradual thawing out. You know, the recent weather that we've had in some parts of the U.S., and obviously where I'm at, is a perfect example of the energies of Mercury retrograde. I mean, not that it's always cold during Mercury retrograde, but, you know, we've had this Arctic invasion blast in a large part of the country, and I know, like, when I'm filming today, it's 27, and that is absolutely tropical and warm compared to what it's been here. So we've had to keep our water running for the last week or so because the temperatures have been below zero at night. So, you know, Mercury retrograde, it does this. It throws a wrench into our plans. It slows us down. It reminds us to slow down. So we've been having some very obvious slowdown this time around with this Arctic weather, those of us at least who've been having it. But maybe you've been experiencing it in other ways. So, you know, if you've been having communication delays or confusion in your communications, technological breakdowns, or just scheduling problems, transportation issues, you know, just little minor annoyances or sometimes major, or maybe you've been feeling it more in the emotional realms. Sometimes, depending on the retrograde, we can still get a lot done and be moderately efficient at least, but then we'll have some of those emotional issues come up. You know, we might be more prone to depression or just feel a little down. You know, and really a lot of it depends on how the individual Mercury retrograde hits your own unique individual chart. So it's different every time. But we've been having some of that anyway, and Mercury's going direct, or beginning to go direct. It's stationing direct this Saturday, February 20th. I thought you'd want to know about that. Now listen, there is a reverb effect often when Mercury goes back direct, and you know, we talk about the post-retrograde storm, so that's the timeline, about a week that it takes for Mercury to regain, you know, some of its speed in the orbit. So during that time, you might have like a jet lag effect, even though Mercury is, you know, moving direct or getting ready to, you know, it's picking up speed again. You may also still need some time to rest, to regroup before you pick up your full speed. Actually, what I find personally, what I would share with you is that during the time between when Mercury turns direct, which is February 20th in this case, and then when it comes out of its post-retrograde storm, that's going to be February 27th. So that's the day when we're out of the storm, okay? Which is basically a week later. So in that week-long period there, what I find is that I can start to move forward in some ways and act again on my creative ideas and make some small progress. And there is usually an inner thawing that is happening during that time. So I can take small steps, I can make small improvements, and I can get some things started, kind of like right around the new moon. It has sort of a new moon correlation. So if you're not too bold yet, and you give yourself some small projects to work on, then things can go very well. But ideally, you'd want to give yourself about a week, again, before you try to jump back in and do anything too bold. I mean, you can schedule for something bold, just do it for outside of a week. You know, basically do it for outside of February 26th. So February 27th onward, we'll be moving forward faster. And actually, if you want to get really technical, and I know some of you do who watch this channel, so there's also this phenomenon called the PostRetrograde Shadow, and that's the amount of time that it takes for Mercury to catch back up to where it was when it started the retrograde. So I don't have my exact tables in front of me, but I believe that's going to be April 1st. So what that means is in March, right now and into March and through March, this is going to continue to be a time of realignment. But the difference is now that Mercury is going back direct, and especially after the post-retrograde storm, you know, on February 27th, that's the end of that. After that time, we're going to move forward with forward momentum, you know. Now listen, after Mercury goes back direct, and remember that's technically happening, it's stationing direct this Saturday, February 20th, you may find that you have to go back and redo some things. That's pretty typical. So if you did a lot, especially during the retrograde, you may find you're going to have to go back and revisit that. Or maybe you just want to. Maybe you worked on an idea during that time, you did a project and you were somewhat satisfied, but you can see where it needs to be tweaked. So don't be at all surprised if there are mistakes that need to be corrected, or maybe your vision needs to be tweaked. Things that you've already done this year may need to be improved upon now that we're going to be going forward after the retrograde. And listen, that's the way it works sometimes. In order to go forward, sometimes we need to reach back and resolve issues that are not yet resolved. You know, loose ends are one of the biggest energy drains you can have. Seriously, if you have unfinished projects or things that weren't done quite up to code for you, okay, you know, some desire or passion stirring around in your heart that, you know, you could tweak it a little bit more, you could do it a little bit better, or maybe there's some people you needed to reach out to and didn't. So the next few weeks will be a good time for doing that, especially between now and basically towards the end of March. So that's it for today for Mercury going direct. And listen, if you want to understand more about the adaptation period after Mercury goes direct, I'll put a link to one of my other more detailed videos about how the energies realign after Mercury has gone direct. But you get the basic gist of it. And it may not be quite time to move ahead full speed yet, but the good news is that it is time to begin gingerly and subtly stepping ahead again, getting on with your life. Mercury is going direct again. Yay! Until next time, love to you all and bright blessings.